Lamar's got vengeance on his mind. Take a listen.
I don't think I get over any loss, to be honest. I got losses from youth football that still hunt me, so I never get over a loss. I don't care how small it may be to someone else or how great it might be. It's always the same for me. Before it was like, oh, you can't win a playoff game. No, we won a playoff game. We got to the LC Championship 2 years ago. And we just fell short, like 2 games short this year. But we're going to bounce back. And when we come back, I feel like we're going to have vengeance on our mind.
Literally the best. Also, Lamar meeting newly signed Jair Alexander. So that's good. Brou, your reaction to Jair and the idea that Lamar has vengeance on his mind.
And they were college buddies.
Yeah, they played at Louisville.
Yeah.
I love getting Jair Alexander. I mean, look, and their defense ended up being pretty good, by the end of the season. But they were nearly the worst pass defense in the league, as far as yards allowed and things, touchdowns, things like that. So getting him, I love that. And look, Lamar's just got to get it done. He is an awesome regular season quarterback. I thought he definitely got over some humps last year. Nick thought, big games, he struggled. I didn't think Pittsburgh was as big a game as him, but he beat the Steelers twice, right? Regular season and the playoffs.
Great argument.
And then played well in that game against Buffalo that they lost.
In the second half.
And I think he did. Look, you can't underestimate the fumble, right? And he did have an interception and a fumble in that game. He only had 4 interceptions in the whole regular season.
And the interception in that game was brutal.
Yes.
It was just like a 5-yard overthrow. It wasn't like it seemed like he didn't the 4 interceptions he had in the regular season, if we remember, there was a whole internet thing. It was like, hey, he's throwing 4 picks, and actually all of them were perfect passes, and he got unlucky. And some of that was actually true. And then his first, that was picked because it was just a terrible pass all year was early in the playoff.
And that's the thing. So I think he gained some ground in terms of his postseason play. Here's what Lamar has to do. He just can't think too much about the past and about the monkey on his back. Yeah. Like, you can't go in, he can't be thinking, I got to win the Super Bowl. I got to win the Super Bowl. I got to win the Super Bowl this year. I haven't been great in the playoffs. I haven't been as good in the playoffs. Like, he's just got to go out there, not think too much, and play. Because they on paper, their team is phenomenal, largely because of him, but they got a lot of pieces elsewhere. They got a great team on paper.
KW.
Yes?
What do you want to say to me?
Say to you?
Yeah. After you hear Lamar talking about, I still think about losses from Pop Warner.
Well, I don't know.
And I was right. That this is a take that, while unpopular and while makes me a villain, is 100% spot on. Every piece of evidence we have, including Lamar's own words, is a guy who gets tight in big spots.
Oh.
Whether it's for the same reasons as James Harden or Aaron Judge, the guys I've talked about before, the result is the same. And it is there was something else he said last year that I thought echoed this. I can't quite sure.
Well, last year he said something about being tight.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was last year.
It was going into
and then he reversed it, after they asked him again about it later.
Exactly right. And now he's like, no, I think about these losses haunt me forever, is what he said.
So you think that?
Yes. I think he wants it.
I don't feel
I think he's great. And I think that there is no, we can put up these 2 graphics. This is just Lamar in the regular season is one of the greatest players ever. Truly. Lamar in the playoffs is bad. It's not like, it's bad for Sanders. That's bad. And then there's this, which is part of this is you're a victim of your own success. But he is the single biggest drop, Wildes, in regular season win percentage to playoff win percentage of any player ever. That number, the difference between the regular season and the playoffs. Darryl LaMonica is second biggest, and then 2 other guys who that real, can they win in the playoffs questions, and Dak and Alex Smith are next.
Wouldn't you say, though, a lot of Lamar's failures in the playoffs, and I talked about last game, were earlier in his career. Like the last few years, he's been much better.
But
in the
here's
playoffs.
the yes, I agree, but to me that doesn't disprove my hypothesis because it was earlier in his career when he was far more a dominant runner than passer. He wasn't even able to execute that come the postseason in the same way. I mean, they had like. The year, we can throw out entirely the year, his rookie year when he took over for Flacco, and then the Chargers were like, hey, we're going to put 9 defensive backs on the field, and it totally flustered him. But the next year, when he was league MVP, that offense was a wagon all year. But he still, I think he had 36 touchdowns, 6 picks or whatever it was.
6 maybe.
And then they scored 12 points in a playoff game against the Titans. And so, I mean, it was just like a Titans team that nobody thought was going to do anything when they had the bye. Like, that's just, I'm not trying to berate their
I don't think
point.
You are.
I just think
it's a fair investigation of it. So here's what he said. That remember we were like, he said something else, Hubs got in my ear and said, Lamar said he was too excited and antsy.
Yeah, antsy.
Yeah. And that was like, oh, that's interesting. So to your point, and I've said this before, he had a great play, and I wish we pulled it, but he was running to the left, and someone snuck out into the end zone. And Lamar did like a pass that looked like a jump shot.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you know what? He is playing in the regular season so carefree. And he also had that little run that was literally like his high school run. Mm-hmm. He plays so carefree. And him saying that he plays antsy, that the losses haunt him. And tell me if I'm wrong, Brou, but I think if you subscribe to the fact that there is some built up, let's call it, winning callous from quarterbacks, where Patrick Mahomes has been, or pressure callous, how about that? Patrick Mahomes is like, I've been here before. This is not a big deal. And Tom Brady's like, you know what? I've been in this moment. I've been down, and I've come through. I'm probably going to do it again. It allows you to play at your best. It allows you to play
100%.
free.
The opposite.
And then the opposite, I think, has to be true.
I also think, and this is the big argument everybody says, are you born with it? And I think Mahomes and Brady were just born with it. Like it just didn't.
Well, certainly,
the big
like
moment
winning very early helps versus losing early. Both of those guys got a shot and immediately won.
Now, we all saw LeBron in Dallas in 2011, and obviously he developed into a great winner. There's probably other examples.
But I agree with you, Wildes, but I think Brou's point about being born with it, the truth of the matter is this. Patrick Mahomes' first 3 playoff games went like this. They beat a Colts team that, and Mahomes was actually one of his worst playoff games, didn't do much, but they killed him. They then lose a home playoff game to Tom Brady, and then the very next playoff game, he's down 24-0. And you know what I mean? In that moment, down 24-0 in the first half, he didn't have like, we always come through. And then the rest of that playoff. After that, though, correct.
You can't stop.
Right.
It's 28-3.
Yeah.
There's nothing you guys can do to me now.
That was right.
I do agree with your synopsis. I do think guys were born with it. But the bottom line is if you have the experience of winning and doing it.
And to that point, I do think it's on the board that if the Ravens were to win the Super Bowl, even if Lamar is not that good, and let's say Derrick Henry, goes on an unbelievable playoff run, and Lamar struggles the playoff run like Peyton did his first Super Bowl run, and they win it, I do think he comes back as the most dangerous player in the league.
100%.
I think that if that is removed and you can get regular season Lamar in the playoffs, he's the most dangerous player in the league. I just don't know if we're going to see that.
We would have to spend so much money on purple Ravens gear for Brou.
What makes a carnival vacation fun? A little bit of everything for everyone. Like being this